Good Friday morning. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Lindsay Reiser in for Savannah Sellers. Right now on Morning News Now, tension in Tennessee and across the country. This morning, 5 former Memphis police officers are facing murder charges after a violent traffic stop confrontation that killed 29-year-old Tyre Nichols.
The actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible.
Now the city of Memphis bracing for unrest ahead of police body cam video being released today. We have team coverage. Warning to the west this morning, new developments from the war in Ukraine as Russia reacts to the U.S. and Germany's plans to send battle tanks to help Ukrainian forces. Plus, we're learning more about yesterday's mass missile strikes in Kyiv. History and heritage, a story of hope on this Holocaust Remembrance Day. How state-of-the-art technology is using long-lost photos to connect families with their loved ones who suffered through the Holocaust. And turbulence on the tarmac for Southwest Airlines over that Christmas time meltdown that canceled thousands of flights and left millions of travelers stranded for the holiday. Our one-on-one with the CEO about the investigation underway, plus his apology to customers. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're with us. We're going to begin this morning in Memphis with new developments in the investigation into the death of Tyre Nichols. And this morning, that city is on edge. 5 now fired Memphis police officers are now facing second-degree murder charges in connection to Nichols' alleged killing. Those officers, Justin Smith, Emmett Martin, Desmond Mills Jr., Demetrius Haley, and Tadarius Bean. Authorities say the men were all involved in a traffic stop that led to Nichols' death. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy announced the charges yesterday at a news conference. He was joined by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
While each of the 5 individuals played a different role in the incident in question, the actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyre Nichols, and they are all responsible.
Nichols' family was shown the footage of the January 7th traffic stop earlier this week. They say it shows officers beating the 29-year-old for 3 minutes. Their legal team is comparing it to the 1990s police beating of Rodney King in Los Angeles. Authorities say Nichols died from his injuries 3 days later. Attorneys for 2 of the police officers, Martin and Mills, are also speaking out. They're calling for a fair trial for their clients. They say they intend to plead not guilty.
I would just caution the public to reserve judgment. Know that there's always more to the story.
No one out there that night intended for Tyre Nichols to die. No one. That's shocking. That's shocking to the officers.
Still, the charges won't erase the pain felt across Memphis and across the country over Nichols' death. More than 300 people gathered last night for a candlelight vigil in Nichols' memory. This as Memphis authorities prepare to release the footage from the traffic stop. That'll be released later today. Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis says she expects citizens to be outraged. Nichols' mother is calling for peaceful protests. NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos is here to help break down the investigation for us. We're going to talk with him in a moment, but we're going to start with the latest on the investigation with NBC News correspondent Sam Brock, who's in Memphis. We're also joined by Mark Claxton, a retired NYPD detective and director of the Black Law Enforcement Alliance. Sam, let's start with you. We don't have many details right now about this traffic stop, but what has the district attorney revealed so far?
Right, so the district attorney, Joe, discussed the fact that we are in the midst right now of an inhumane series of consequential actions. Videotape that captured what he described as something that should never happen to another human being. In fact, those are the same words from the city's police chief, C.J. Davis, as well. And that, of course, that indictments followed from that. 5 second-degree murder charges, one for each of the 5 police officers who were involved in this seizure. And as you mentioned, the district attorney there, Mr. Mulroy, said that they all played a role. They didn't have the exact same reaction, but all of them, in his words, led to the death of a 29-year-old man who was stopped for a traffic violation. Speaking with the president of the NAACP, he told me, when would a traffic violation lead to a death sentence? That's not how things are supposed to work in America. Now, Joe, bear with me for a second. Behind me is the Shelby County Jail. And for a period of time, 5 police officers were in there. Right now, 4 out of 5 of them, Joe, have bonded out. So clearly that may create some tension here in the city of Memphis. If there is one thing, though, that we know to be true, it's the fact that those murder charges came down prior to the video being released. Can you imagine what the environment would be like in Memphis if there were not charges against these particular officers. And you did see video that was so visceral and so painful, as has been described by authorities and the family members of Tyre Nichols who have already viewed it. Now, it is also telling that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation that led this probe, they described, the director, how he would characterize this video in one word. Listen to what he said.
I'm shocked. I'm sickened by what I saw. And what we've learned through our extensive and thorough investigation. I've seen the video, and as DA Morley stated, you will too. In a word, it's absolutely appalling.
Joe, there is the potential that we could be seeing additional charges against other members of the Memphis Police Department. There are also EMTs involved, fire department members as well. So we'll see how wide this scope ultimately gets. But right now, the city of Memphis is on edge, waiting to see what this video will actually reveal.
Mark, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis released a video statement on social media. Let's go ahead and listen to that. We'll get your reaction.
This is not just a professional failing. This is a failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
What do you make of her statements there, Mark, and how this investigation has played out so far?
Chief Davis, Mr. Nichols, are a large reason why the pace of this investigation has sped up significantly and outside of what is normal, what we normally expect with law enforcement investigations. So she's a well-respected law enforcement professional, well-respected nationally in the law enforcement community, super well-respected within the Black law enforcement community, and her actions in many ways are the reasons why some of these steps, the arrest, were kind of rapid as opposed to what we're accustomed to.
Sam, this body camera footage is set to be released after 6 p.m. local time. How is the community reacting and really bracing for its release later today?
So as one woman who is an associate minister in this community described it to me, it's like preparing yourself for a car crash that you've already seen it, right? You know that it's happened, but you haven't felt the impact yet. That's how folks here are feeling, because they just know that they are going to be totally beside themselves to see this level of inhumanity and pain inflicted on another person. And so it's just a series of, as she said, metabolizing bits of information that they can understand in their mind, but how they absorb it in their hearts is a completely different matter. Here's what she told me.
We have compounded grief right now. There's a grief that's happening because Tyre's life was already taken. There's a grief that we're holding with this family, and then there's a anticipated grief that is mixed with rage and pain in advance for a video that should not exist, meaning it should never have happened.
So the video shouldn't exist because it never should have happened. And you're looking right now at a dynamic where the NAACP president told me, if this doesn't create some sort of national change, and we're talking about legislation at the congressional level that would establish a national standard of training for police officers. He said you can't have, say, 5,000 cities with 5,000 different potential guidelines for police officers. There needs to be something uniform. There needs to be a database, he says, that tracks police misconduct, because oftentimes what you find are a small percentage of officers who commit infractions and then they just move on to another agency after the fact. And Joe, that is relevant here in the sense that the one officer who is still behind bars, Demetrius Haley, was involved in a prison assault several years ago in which one of the people there ended up unconscious, and he ended up then moving on to the Memphis Police Department. So there's a lot of questions that are coming out of this, but this community right now bracing for the hours ahead.
Mark, do you agree with what the NCAA president told Sam about there needing to be a national database like this? I mean, I know that we have the Brady list that's available via public information requests. And also I want to talk about these specialized units. It's our understanding that many of these officers, if not all of them, were involved in a so-called Scorpion unit. The police chief says that these specialized units will be under review. What might that look like?
That would look like additional supervision, perhaps dismantling of that particular unit. Oftentimes, law enforcement agencies will rename these type of units if they're found to be problematic and oftentimes violating some constitutional law. So that's all window dressing, and I agree with the NAACP. in regards to the need for police reform, comprehensive police reform. I think most importantly, what needs to happen is there needs to be a shifting from what we have understood to be the traditional policing model of run, catch them, lock them up, and throw away the key, and more towards a public safety model, which incorporates so many different disciplines, where you have some attention to the economic impact in communities, financial hardships, social issues that crop up, psychologists that deal with and address mental health issues, more of a comprehensive approach. And then also, finally, you have to stop police departments from being the main enforcers for some of the most simplest of offenses. Not every offense, not even a criminal act, not every offense needs police intervention. And we found that these car stops are high on the list of interactions that too often result in fatal encounters, specifically and especially for Black and brown people.
Mark Claxton and Sam Brock, thank you both for kicking us off this hour. We really appreciate your time.
For more on this, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas. So, Danny, good morning. First of all, I saw you were nodding along to what Mark was saying there in terms of some of these traffic stops. Let's talk right now about this video and the anticipation of its release and what investigators are going to be looking for. I mean, they've already seen it, but what are you going to be looking for example, as somebody with a legal background?
Right. There's going to be apparently a number of different videos because there were a number of different body cams. But in addition, there are what they call pole cams. The city of Memphis uses a company, I believe it's called Sky Cop, but they install on poles, video cameras that are triggered sometimes by a gunshot or maybe movement, whatever the case may be. But reportedly, they caught this encounter. So you're going to get two different angles at least, one from body cam and one from the pole cam. The reason that's significant is that sometimes body cam, it's amazing if it's high def for picking up furtive movements or maybe anything else that may be disputed during a car stop, but they can be jostled pretty easily if the police officers are wrestling with someone. That pole cam, assuming it caught the entire encounter, might give us even more perspective, even if it's removed maybe even by 50 yards or so.
So, Danny, yesterday we heard from two attorneys representing some of the officers. Let's listen a little more to what one of them had to say. We'll talk about it on the other side.
We obviously have started to think about potential defenses. We are getting to know our clients. Unfortunately, we've all over the last couple of years seen videos where there's police brutality involved. And so I would just caution the public to reserve judgment. You're going to feel things, you're going to experience emotions, but know that there's always more to the story.
So keeping in mind you have not seen the body camera footage yet, but what could we expect from the defense attorneys here as possible defense?
Well, those defense attorneys are going chapter and verse with the what to say when you don't know what you're going to do about your case yet. You hear a lot of the standard language there. You've only heard one side of the story. Hold out and wait till you hear both sides. That's what I would be doing if I was sitting in their spot, which is they've got a really difficult high-profile case with defendants who are not popular and they know nothing about what's in discovery yet. All they know is they're about to get hit with a sledgehammer when that video gets released. So they're in a very unenviable position there, trying to come up with some initial defense, which really at this point could just be wait until all the facts come out.
Right, but one of the defense attorneys we heard at the top of the show said nobody intended for Tyre Nichols to die. Do prosecutors have to prove intent?
They don't have to prove specific intent to kill. Second-degree murder in Tennessee is actually a very concise statute. It basically says whoever kills with knowledge. And a knowing killing is one that occurs when you do something that is substantially likely that death will result. So you may hit somebody with a bottle and say, well, I was only intending to hurt them. But if they fall over and hit their head and they succumb to their injuries, then if you knew that hitting someone with a bottle, for example, is likely to cause death, you can be guilty of second-degree murder, at least in Tennessee, as that statute defines it.
Danny Savalas, thank you.
Turning now to Ukraine, where the country is dealing with the aftermath of yesterday's Russian air attacks. Ukrainian authorities say at least 11 people were killed across the country. The capital, Kyiv, also recorded its first war-related death of the year. NBC News foreign correspondent Richard Engel joins us now. So, Richard, yesterday's strikes came just a day after the U.S. and Germany announced they agreed to send their tanks to Ukraine. What's the situation like over there this morning? Especially, what are you hearing in and around the capital?
So there have been attacks once again in and around the capital, Kyiv, and that first death of the year. Kyiv is quite far from the front lines. Kyiv is a city that is experiencing power cuts, serious problems with running water, serious problems with heat, but there haven't been very many casualties because most of the Russian attacks have been against the infrastructure, against power plants, against treatment facilities that are generally on the outskirts of the city. So this is a more deliberate attempt by Russia to bring the fight right to the center, right to the capital. But it is not the only attacks. We are still seeing a very active front line all throughout the east, all throughout the south. And Ukrainians recognize that this is why they need the weapons. If they needed any more evidence, they just got it. They say we need weapons, we need air defenses, they need tanks, and some tanks are going to be on their way. And they are now asking for aircraft. So if you watch the progression here over the last year, and we're almost at the one-year anniversary, first they started out asking for weapons. Then they started asking for air defenses. Then it was more advanced artillery, then tanks, and now they want fighter jets, F-16s.
Richard, explosions were also reportedly heard near the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. That's according to UN monitors there. What more can you tell us about what we're hearing about that?
So this goes back to an incident that happened yesterday. So there are many nuclear sites in Ukraine, the most famous of all being Chernobyl, which led to the Chernobyl nuclear meltdown. And it is extremely dangerous to have so many nuclear power plants, nuclear facilities in an active war zone. And the international community is so concerned about that the IAEA has sent monitors to these locations. But the IAEA, the monitors who are there, part of their mandate is just to record incidents, but not who was responsible. So if there is an explosion, they will write down and say, we heard explosions, our windows rattled, and that's what they reported yesterday. The Russians, the occupying Russian forces, control the Zaporizhzhia plant. And the Russians came out very angrily and condemned the IAEA, saying you shouldn't be making these allegations. You're making it look like the Russians aren't in full control of the facility. You're making it look like the Russians are acting irresponsibly. What the IAEA is asking for are safe zones, that these nuclear facilities, not just Zaporizhzhia, but all of them across the country, be declared war-free zones. But so far that hasn't happened, and there have been numerous strikes carried out very close to the facilities, and that's what we saw yet again overnight.
All right, Richard Engel, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Time now for a look at your morning news now weather.
Bill Cairns is joining us. It's been a busy week. How are we looking for the weekend?
It has been a busy week. I was just thinking, this is the last weekend of January already. Like, I don't know how that happened. I mean, I was tracking, like, tornadoes and winter storms all month, it seems. And, yeah, here we are. And one thing we haven't been talking about a lot is big Arctic outbreaks. Remember back around Christmas, we had really cold temperatures throughout much of the country? We haven't had an Arctic outbreak since then. Well, now we're going to watch that changing as we go into February. Nothing dramatic, but it is going to get much colder. So we're going to set the stage this weekend. We do have a clipper system going through the Great Lakes. That just brings a little bit of light snow, and it also brings colder temperatures. And then behind it, we have another storm. Already winter storm warnings are up. We're going to get nailed in the mountains of the northern Rockies. And then watch this little narrow strip's going to extend out here into the plains. Areas like Sioux City, you're going to get a decent little snowfall out of this, but not much to your north and not much to your south either. Cedar Rapids will get some, and eventually this will head towards areas like Chicago too, which will be nice. I think Chicago, it looks like the timing for your snow is going to be as we go through Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, possibly around 1, maybe 2 inches of snow for you, but just enough out there on the roads to make things very slippery. So that'll be one issue that we'll be watching. And some of the other things, of course, we got some football games this weekend too. The game in Kansas City is going to be cold and chilly, maybe some snow showers, but the game in Philadelphia on Sunday, no problems whatsoever, increasing clouds. clouds, and it looks like a light wind. So for 2 outdoor games this time of year, you couldn't really ask for anything much better than that, guys. So yeah, the weekend forecast really shaping up really nice.
And Bill, I just realized next week is your favorite holiday.
That little rodent's going to pop up, and everyone's going to pay all attention. And I'm going to sit here saying whatever. Everyone's going to ignore me. But, yep, little rodent will get all the headlines.
Bill calls it Rodent Day, not Groundhog Day. Rodent Day.
Wow,
Unbelievable.
strong feelings.
Strong words from Bill. There's fighting words. All right, Bill, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up on Morning News now, dramatic new developments in the murder trial of a high-profile attorney accused of killing his wife and son.
Up next, the new evidence presented to the jury, including the chilling 911 call Murdaugh made. We'll be right back. We are back with dramatic testimony in the murder trial of Alec Murdaugh, the prominent South Carolina attorney accused of killing his wife and child. The jury viewed harrowing police body camera video from the scene and heard Murdaugh's emotional call to 911. NBC News correspondent Katie Beck has the details.
On the first full day of testimony in the Murdaugh murder trial, first responders detail a gruesome scene.
Your Honor, permission to publish this exhibit to...
The jury heard the chilling 911 call.
You okay? Okay, is that your wife and your son? My wife? Okay, and my son.
And from first responders recounting a gruesome crime scene. Standing near it, a distraught Alec Murdaugh.
Did you ever see him, any tears, any physical tears?
I did not.
This is official that they're dead?
Yes, sir, that's what it looks like.
Seen and heard by the jury the police body camera footage from that night, and by Murdaugh, who became emotional several times, especially as witnesses described his son's injuries. On tape, almost immediately, Murdaugh tells police the reason he believes his son was a target.
This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck months back. He's been getting threats. I know that's what it is.
Murdaugh also mentioned that theory to the 911 dispatcher, referring to the 2019 boat crash that killed 19-year-old Mallory Beach. Paul Murdaugh, charged with 3 counts of boating under the influence in the incident, had pleaded not guilty and was awaiting trial. The defense on cross, highlighting the lack of blood on Murdaugh's clothing. Also questions about preserving evidence.
Do your best not to contaminate anything. And this is your best.
Both the prosecution and the defense are using the lack of blood on Alec Murdaugh's clothing to bolster their case. The defense saying that if Murdaugh did the crime, he would have had blood on his clothes. And prosecutors saying if Murdaugh checked the victims for signs of life, as he said he did, he wouldn't have been so clean. In Walterboro, South Carolina, I'm Katie Beck for NBC News.
All right, Katie, thank you.
Now to a major announcement from the Justice Department. An FBI crackdown on one of the world's most notorious hacker rings, accused of carrying out major ransomware attacks across the world. NBC News national correspondent Gabe Gutierrez has the story.
The major ransomware attacks targeted schools, hospitals, and critical infrastructure. The FBI says it infiltrated one of the world's most prolific hacker gangs and shut down its site on the dark web.
Simply put, using lawful means, we hacked the hackers.
Investigators say the group, known as Hive, would partner with independent hackers, extorting more than $100 million worldwide. For years now, there have been headlines of Hive going after school districts in the U.S., like Norman Public Schools in Oklahoma, and a network of hospitals in Ohio, that had to cancel urgent surgeries while its staff moved to paper charts.
This network targeted more than 1,500 victims around the world since June of 2021.
Ransomware hackers extort victims by breaking into their online networks, then either encrypting their files, making their computers unusable, or stealing the files and threatening to leak them. The victims are told they can only get their files back by paying a huge ransom. Still, with no arrests in this case, cybercrime experts question the long-term impact of Hive's dismantling.
The criminal marketplace is extremely resilient, so Hive has competitors who are literally waiting in the wings to replace them.
Hackers linked to other ransomware attacks have often been based out of Russia. The Attorney General would not comment on whether this group was, citing an ongoing investigation. Back to you.
Thank you. In international headlines, a top Islamic State leader is dead after a U.S. military raid in Somalia.
Claudio Lavanga joins us now from Rome with that and more. Good morning, Claudio.
Good morning. Yes, two administration officials confirmed that a senior leader of the Islamic State plus 10 other ISIS fighters were killed in that U.S. military operation in Somalia on Wednesday. The ISIS leader was named as Bilal al-Sudani, who, according to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, was responsible for fostering the growing presence of ISIS in Africa and funding the group's operation worldwide, including in Afghanistan. And let's go to Afghanistan, where more than 160 people have died from the cold this month, 84 of them in the past week alone. Authorities say that this is the coldest winter in more than a decade, and with temperatures well below freezing, many residents have been unable to afford fuel to heat their homes. Let's move to Australia, where the father of tennis star Novak Djokovic said he will not attend his son's semi-final match today after he was photographed alongside pro-Putin supporters holding a Russian flag on Wednesday. After the images attracted a barrage of criticism, Djokovic's father decided not to attend Friday's match, as he has no intention of causing headlines or disruptions. Guys.
All right, Claudio, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Coming up, 8 decades of history unlocked by technology.
After the break, a story of hope on this Holocaust Remembrance Day, how new technology is bringing old photos of lost loved ones back to their families after all this time. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day, and we want to bring you a story about history, heritage, and technology being used for good.
An organization is helping people discover images of relatives who suffered through or were lost in the Holocaust, all by using facial recognition. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch has the story.
Every face has a story. But in these photos from the 1940s, only 3 people are officially identified. So to most of the world, these images are a vault.
This is I, and this is Micheline.
But Blanche Fixler has the keys, unlocking almost 80 years of history with a melody. She's remembering what her roughly 10-year-old self sang at this French children's home and how she wound up there.
What do you think about when you look at that little girl?
That little girl went through hell. Well,
she made it through.
She made it through with the help of God. Only with the help of God.
Blanche Fixler survived the Holocaust with memories of terror as the Nazis hunted her Jewish family, along with millions more people. But until last year, she had no idea these photos even existed. They show Blanche soon after the war, a connection made thanks to From Numbers to Names, an organization which says it uses artificial intelligence to identify people. The AI takes photos people upload online and compares them to established digital collections, including from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum and Israel's Yad Vashem Museum. From Numbers to Names ran this photo of a young Blanche through its facial recognition program. The search turning up a pair of images appearing to show the same little girl, but in these photos, she's nameless. Then Blanche took a look.
I recognized myself right away.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a photo with just one name listed online has a longer caption, a deeper history.
And here is Rabbi Mintz, and here is my aunt, and here is my cousin Ruth.
What was that like to realize he had found you?
Well, it was very emotional, but you know what? I never got over the fact of not having a mother. Never, never. Till this day. Till this day. Yeah.
Can't replace that.
It was not the same.
Blanche says her mother, brother, and sister were all murdered by the Nazis. Her father fled their native Poland and headed east. So Blanche's aunt watched over her, hiding the roughly 6-year-old in a bed, moving her to an orphanage, helping her flee the country. This technology has unlocked fresh details from the darkest of times for Hollywood star Josh Gad and his family, too. Gad now has a photo of his great-grandmother who was killed in the Holocaust, someone whose face he had never seen.
You've heard of Sarah Rosenberg, but to see her, what does that do?
I was elation, sadness, a feeling, an overwhelming feeling of closure.
Gad says another tracked down image is a clearer version of a photo showing his grandmother.
Having this big yellow star on her that you could see with such, again, clarity. That was equally painful. That was equally emotional.
Gad is sharing his family's story in interviews and across social media at a time when he says Holocaust education is so important, with anti-Semitism festering. We tested the technology ourselves using my own family photo of my grandfather, Jack Kirsch, a Jewish-American prisoner of war held by the Nazis. These were the 10 most likely suggestions from the AI. Unfortunately, none of them a match.
It wouldn't make sense for my grandfather to have been in these settings.
But from numbers to names expects there may be millions more photos out there still unanalyzed. The innovation is opening up more memories that are emotional, but also hard evidence that Holocaust deniers cannot brush aside.
A picture is a real thing. It's not drawn by an artist, you know, it's not out of the figment of the imagination. It's a real thing. And if something is real, you cannot deny it.
Jesse Kirsch, NBC News.
Let's continue our conversation of International Holocaust Remembrance Day with Jonathan Greenblatt. He is the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League. Jonathan, good morning. First, I just want to get your reaction to Jesse's story there on this facial recognition technology. I mean, how important are projects like this?
Well, look, I mean, Jesse's piece, I mean, I was moved just watching it and seeing his own grandfather's story. Technology can transform our lives in so many ways. And on this day, when we remember 77 years to the date, when the Allied forces, when American troops liberated Auschwitz-Birkenau, this death camp that centered so much suffering, that was sort of ground zero for Hitler's campaign of systematic annihilation of the Jewish people, you know, across countries, across continents, this transnational effort to exterminate a race. To see Jesse's piece, to see how technology is opening up doors today and allowing people to recover those that they lost. I mean, I sit here with you as the grandson of a Holocaust survivor myself. My paternal grandfather, his family was literally incinerated in those gas chambers, you know, suffocated in the gas chambers, incinerated in the furnaces of Auschwitz. And so I lost everything in terms of memory. So when I see what AI and technology can do to revive real stories, real people, that makes the 6 million human and accessible in a manner that I think is just incredibly moving.
So much was taken away, and this is just giving a little bit, just a memory, like you said, Jonathan. Yeah. So we've talked a lot about the past. Let's talk about the present day and the fact that the ADL is still tracking reports of anti-Semitic activity around the world. You guys are going to release your audit of anti-Semitic incidents soon. And your blog talks about the fact that it seemed as if anti-Semitism had reached a crisis point in the U.S. last year. Can you give us a snapshot of what we can expect and where we are right now?
Sure. I mean, the ADL is the oldest anti-hate organization in America. We've been tracking anti-Semitic attitudes since the 1960s. We've been auditing incidents, acts of harassment, hate, and violence since the 1970s. In terms of the actual acts themselves, yes, I mean, we have seen the numbers surge since 2016. 2021 was the highest total we've ever seen. And while we're finalizing the 2022 numbers, I expect they will be at that level, if not higher. Now, we also monitor attitudes. As I said, we've been looking at attitudes for almost 60 years. After a long kind of period of a plateau of very low numbers, in 2022, anti-Semitic attitudes in the U.S. nearly doubled. So offline, we're seeing attitudes and incidents go in the wrong direction. And what we know about anti-Semitism is it starts with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. It's a kind of conspiracy to see how the world works. And when you start blaming the Jewish people or the Jewish state for all the world's ills, that's dangerous for us. And it typically augurs hate against, people based on their race or their national origin, how they pray, where they're from, who they love. So anti-Semitism, I would say, is reaching epidemic levels, but that's not just a Jewish problem. It's everyone's problem, because it's a sign of a sort of societal decay that if we don't address, will spread and touch us all.
Jonathan, we only have about 30 seconds left here, but along those lines, you've recently launched the ADL tracker. What is that, and how can the public use it?
Look, you can see it on Twitter at ADL_tracker. We're simply trying to track the dizzying rise of hate. The only way we beat hate is by educating people, helping them understand. So whether it's educating them about what's happening online or bringing the Holocaust education into classrooms across the country, only when we all understand, that's the antidote to intolerance, anti-Semitism, and all forms of hate.
Such an important conversation. Jonathan Greenblatt, we're thankful that you joined us this morning on this International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for covering the story.
All right, coming up, Finding a Silver Lining. A new docuseries is shining a spotlight on a high school football team forced to face tragedy off the field.
Up next, my conversation with the filmmaker behind the project ahead of today's final episode. Stay with us. This is Morning News Now.
We're back now with more on the Southwest Airlines meltdown over the holidays, which is now being investigated by the Department of Transportation. Nearly 17,000 flights were canceled during the peak of the holiday travel season, costing the airline hundreds of millions of dollars. NBC Nightly News anchor Lester Holt sat down with Southwest CEO Bob Jordan to discuss what happened.
It was a December debacle for Southwest Airlines, the cancellation of nearly 17,000 flights, causing millions of missed vacations and celebrations. The airline announcing an $800 million price tag for the 10 days of canceled flights. At the same time, Southwest finds itself in the government's crosshairs with an investigation into whether the number of flights scheduled was realistic. Let me begin by asking you, do you think a Department of Transportation investigation into December's debacle is warranted?
Number one, we want to cooperate and collaborate with our oversight committees, with the Department of Transportation. And their goals, if you think the DOT, it's to make sure our consumers and our customers are taken care of. We share those goals.
This investigation will look at the possibility of that the airline deceived passengers, unrealistically scheduling flights that it knew were impossible to fulfill. How do you respond to that?
Well, if you look at our flight schedule, we were fully staffed to fly our December flight schedule. If you look before the event and since, we've been operating really well. With the month of January as an example, we are #1 in terms of on-time performance here in the industry.
Right, but you have to understand, and I think you'll agree that most people are going to measure you on what happened on your worst days, those last few days of December.
You know, I've got to start with, we really messed up. I almost cannot apologize enough to our customers and our people at Southwest Airlines. We let them down when they needed us the most. We had a huge storm that impacted so much of the country. That led to an incredible number of cancels, more than we have ever seen. That led to an incredible number of aircraft reroutings, an historic level. Ultimately, that led to a huge level of crew reroutings, far more than we have ever seen, and that just overwhelmed our systems and our processes. I'm not making excuses, but it really was an extraordinary event.
Well, you've already talked about, and others have talked about, this software used for scheduling your flight attendants and your pilots, your crews, wasn't up to task given the circumstances that you were facing. Have you fixed that?
You know, the technology is called SkySolver. It actually performed as designed, as did our processes. You're trying to solve a routing that occurred hours ago. The software was never designed for that. They actually have a new version of the software that has been developed. It's in test right now, and that'll fix that problem.
We're in winter for at least another couple of months here. Granted, there's no major holidays on the immediate horizon, but I think what people wonder when they book with you now, will you be able to fulfill the obligation?
Well, we'll do everything short-term, now, immediate, long-term, to make sure that this does not happen again. We've already put things in place like an extraordinary level of monitoring in our network operational center. We've spun up a group of about 100 extra crew schedulers that we can use on demand. We're looking at our de-icing procedures top to bottom. We're buying extra engine covers in case of tremendously cold weather. We've got a 51-year track record of being a terrific operator, delivering for our customers, loving on our customers and loving on our people, and we are going to fulfill that.
Part of my conversation with the CEO of Southwest Airlines.
Thanks, Lester.
More financial news now. Toy maker Hasbro is now the latest company to announce some major layoffs.
CNBC's Pippa Stevens joins us now with that and other news. Good morning, Pippa.
Good morning. Hasbro will cut 15% of its workforce this year, or 1,000 jobs. The toy maker also warning sales from the holiday quarter will be well below Wall Street's forecasts as demand for its toys and games is weakening. Hasbro joins a growing list of companies to cut jobs amid threats of a recession this year. In October, the company warned demand was starting to slip ahead of the holiday shopping season. And Bed Bath & Beyond says it doesn't have the cash to repay loans from its banks. The retailer received a default notice from JP Morgan this week. The company warned earlier this month it was running low on funds and was exploring a bankruptcy filing. A default notice is unusual for a company facing bankruptcy, as they typically reach a deal with lenders, putting a pause on repaying their debt. And TikTok now lets you get direct messages from everyone, just like Instagram. TikTok has offered direct messaging on the platform, but it previously only worked for people who follow themselves. Now you can open your inbox to anyone, so you'll be able to send messages beyond your circle of friends if you open your inbox to the public. TikTok wants to ensure more users will share videos directly on the app rather than using another social network. Guys, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Pippa.
Tonight, Showtime will air the final chapter of a 4-part documentary called Boys in Blue, a series that's as timely as ever in the wake of Tyre Nichols' death. It chronicles the high school football team in North Minneapolis, a neighborhood where crime and gang violence are everyday realities. So are tensions with police, especially in the wake of George Floyd's murder. Yet, several of the team's coaches are current or former police officers. Filmmaker Pete Berg read about the team in the New York Times and knew he had to tell this story, never imagining what would happen while they were documenting the Minneapolis North Polars.
Most of the community around North, they protect that football field. That's kind of like a sanctuary, because when football games are going on, they want to be safe.
It was my belief that something pretty positive was happening in this community.
And what did you find, especially within the community where there are so many negative experiences with police, but then these young men have their coaches who are officers?
We hear about the importance of community policing and having police officers actually live and be a part of the communities that they're supposed to be serving and protecting. We hear about that. What we experienced in that neighborhood, in the North community, was real, straight up community policing, where these cops know the kids, know their families. The families know the cops. They all live in the same neighborhood.
I'm a police officer for North Minneapolis and coach for North High School.
Kind of weird, but I'm building bonds with police.
It's not a perfect system, but it works pretty damn well. And we observed, I think, something quite special happening in the Minneapolis North community.
But for Berg's crew and the entire Minneapolis North community, the reality of violence hit home with just a couple weeks left of filming. Star quarterback Deshaun Hill Jr., who was featured heavily in the documentary, was shot and killed.
It was the most intense experience that I've ever had in, 32 years of being in this business. Never in my wildest imagination thought that one of these beautiful young men was going to be murdered right in the middle of our shooting.
His mother worried deeply about that very possibility, didn't she?
She does. I mean, the series always opened up with a scene in Deshaun Hill's living room with Tuesday, his mom, and Deshaun Sr. and D. Hill there with his two little sisters. And his mother was talking about her greatest fear is that he will be killed leaving school, going to the bus stop. You hear about how dangerous life is in so many of our cities. You hear it, but you don't quite feel it. You don't quite get it. And to have his mother sort of foreshadowing and trying trying to raise the alarm and ask for help, saying like, we are in danger here. One of the blessings, I think, is that in Boys in Blue, one of the things we did was capture just how beautiful this young man was. You know, this was an extraordinary young man, no criminal gang activity, no drugs, honor roll student, extremely gifted athlete, just coming into his own, would have had a college career playing football, no question. And at the very least, we were able to capture him. And it's something that his family, his sisters, his friends will be able to have for the rest of their lives.
We don't lose until we lose. So all I'm asking y'all, don't ever give up on me, because I won't give up on y'all.
For viewers who watch Boys in Blue, what do you hope they take away from it?
A sense of the nuance and complexity that exists in communities like Minneapolis North, where people might have stereotypes or preconceived notions about what it means to grow up in a rough neighborhood. Being able to spend time with families who are struggling but determined to give their kids the best opportunities they can. Spending time with other people is very healthy and very helpful. And it's very hard for us to do that with people out of our circle. And Boys in Blue, I believe, can take people into a new circle. It took me into one.
Our thanks to Pete Berg for taking the time to talk with us. The finale of Boys in Blue airs tonight at 8 p.m. on Showtime. And a quick update. Just yesterday, a jury found Cody Forencamp guilty of second-degree murder in the death of Deshaun Hill Jr. He faces up to 40 years in prison. After the verdict, Hill's family said they could finally begin their journey toward healing. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Archaeologists in Egypt have discovered what may in fact be the country's oldest and most complete mummy. It was announced yesterday that a 4,300-year-old man was uncovered near the capital of Cairo. It was held for millennia in a limestone sarcophagus sealed in mortar. The body was located at the bottom of a 50-foot shaft contained in a tomb close to what's known as the Step Pyramid, and was part of a recently uncovered group of tombs from the 5th and 6th dynasties, some of which belonged to high-ranking officials of the time, though for our newly resurfaced friend, it's unknown what sort of role he played in the country's distant past, at least for now. Maybe they'll figure it out.
Wow, 4,300 years.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. Finally, this hour yesterday, we told you about the black bear who became a selfie star after he was captured on wildlife cameras in hundreds of photos. We just couldn't get enough of this story. So NBC News correspondent Miguel Almaguer spoke to a wildlife expert about whether they've ever seen anything like this.
People come to Boulder for its rugged beauty and breathtaking views, a picture-perfect landscape for a selfie, or perhaps a few hundred of them. Clearly not shy and maybe a little vain, it seems this black bear likes its angles, all of them.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I haven't, but this bear definitely seemed very curious, a little bit playful perhaps.
Goofy, provocative, and even pensive, the enthusiastic photo shoot, some 400 selfies, triggered a range of reactions, headlines, and love online.
People are very excited about all of the bear images that we captured.
And the bear put in legwork for the headshots, finding one of 9 motion sensor cameras on 46,000 acres of open space wasn't easy. Hoping to snap birds, prairie dogs, and mountain lions, this bear barely left any room for photos of other curious critters.
People being aware of what's out there is very important, and being able to coexist.
To be fair, animal selfies aren't just monkey business. The most famous of them all ended up in a lawsuit over who owned the rights. And while we all love a good selfie, it turns out even a bear can be a camera hog. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Provocative.
Well,
I think we're attaching a lot of emotions to this bear, but it is fun to see.
You reckon there's a lot of people that LA Bureau selfie?
Oh yeah, of course.
Everybody.
All our old friends in the LA Bureau. Good to get them
ground.
on. They like to be in front of the camera just as much as the bear. All right, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.